All right, I'm going to show you how to do today's dead day assignment. So you can't see, but off camera I have a pair of scissors here. If you are a virtual student and you actually don't have a pair of scissors in your house, you can find something else to use. I would prefer a pair of scissors, but if you can't find a pair of scissors, you can use something else that, you know, has a relatively complicated shape. I like scissors because you have like some light values and dark values as well as some midtones. Don't just pick like, you know, a book or something. Pick something that's like a little bit interesting, but you know, do what you have to do. It'll be okay if you don't have a pair of scissors. So you're going to set up your paper like this. So this should be a paper in your sketchbook. So your spiral binding would be here. And then I want you to glue or tape or paper clip or whatever you need to do this small piece of black paper to one side of your sketchbook. So again, the spiral binding is here, and then you're like this. You will probably be working like this. I wanted to fit it all on the screen at the same time, so I have turned mine this way. So I've got my scissors to use as reference. Please do not use a photo. Please use an actual three-dimensional object that is sitting in front of you for reference for this dead day. So I'm going to set it here, and on this side, I'm going to draw and shade the scissors just like I normally would. I would ideally like you to spend 10 to 15 minutes on this drawing. If it is done faster than 10 minutes, it's probably not what I'm asking for. I don't know of a single student who is talented enough to draw and actually shade. Not just like color the whole thing gray. Coloring it gray is not shading. Actually shade, looking at value that you see. I don't know anybody who's talented enough to do that in 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes. So I'm going to set this to the side and I'm going to draw mine. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, coloring it gray. This is colored gray. This is not shaded. If I got a paper towel and I blended over this to like make it look nice and smooth, it would still be colored gray. It still would not be shaded. Shading is going in and finding the subtle variations, like where this is a little bit darker than this, and you can kind of see this highlight right here, especially with some reflections here on the blades of the scissors and things like that. The subtle differences, that's what creates shading, not just coloring the whole thing gray. Okay, so this is closer to what I mean. It is still pretty sloppy. You could still definitely do a lot better than this, but I don't want to take up a whole lot more of our time with this. So this is in the realm of what I'm looking for. Like I said, you could push this farther and you could definitely make it a lot cleaner than this. This is pretty messy, but this is kind of what I'm going for. So you have like some subtle variations and things like that. So now we're going to move over to this side. So you're going to draw the same pair of scissors again, but you are going to draw them on black paper using a white pencil. Now, a lot of people are tempted to just go in and do exactly what you did here, just like outline it and shade it in. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for you to make the pair of scissors white. I'm looking for you to find the white areas and draw them with the scissors. That sounds complicated, and it definitely is. So don't stress yourself out about this. Don't tell yourself that you can't do it and just give up. Do the best you can. This is practice for the project that we are going to start tomorrow, which is why we are doing this today. Give yourself some freedom. Dead days are participation points. So if you try, if I can tell that you have attempted to shade this, even if it didn't come out perfectly, if I can tell that you attempted to draw with white, you're gonna get your points for it. So just try, give it your best effort. So I'm looking at my scissors here again, and I am going to start shading the negative space. So the things that would actually be white or lighter, because this charcoal pencil will work the kind of the same way as the graphite does. Areas where you push down a little bit less, you will get areas where not as much transfers. And if this feels too stressful for you, if you want to sketch it out with your regular pencil first on the black paper, just so you have like some lines to go with, you can. I'm not going to tell you you can't do that. Okay, so I'm sort of done. I could still go way further on this one, and I probably should, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop here because you can kind of see the gist of what I'm doing. So the areas over here that were white, I have made white. The areas that were darker, I've left a little bit darker, and so on and so forth. You will notice a couple of things. First of all, this one probably looks a lot better than this one. I am much more practiced with graphite, as are you, than I am with a white charcoal pencil. So don't be disappointed if your graphite one looks better than your charcoal one. You'll also notice here, especially, it's pretty scratchy and smudgy looking. You could definitely blend that out a little bit if you want to. Charcoal doesn't blend, this white charcoal at least, doesn't blend as easily as graphite does, but you can do some blending with it. But this is what I want you to have to turn into me. A regular drawing where you are making dark marks on a white surface, and then a inverted drawing where you are making light marks on a dark surface. And that will kind of prepare your brain for what we're doing next, for the transition that we're going into next. So really don't think about this as I'm just gonna draw the same pair of scissors as that I drew over here. Think about it as where are the lightest areas and how can I find those light areas? If you have any questions, send me an email.